today's podcast, we're going to talk about boutique versus franchise real estate brokerages. So Signature Properties is a boutique brokerage that we started in 2017. I had worked at, I've worked at 2 different boutiques, and then I've worked at 2 different franchises. And I knew that we didn't want to franchise because it's just really expensive. I mean, to be a franchisee, there's overhead costs, there's requirements by the corporate company of how many agents you can have and what you need, and we just didn't fit that bill. So we just decided to be independent, and it's been awesome.
I've also worked for 2 boutique and 2 franchise companies, and it is interesting kind of thinking back to like kind of what the differences are. And I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Yes.
But for me personally, I prefer the boutique life.
Yeah, so when I was at the 2 different franchise companies, something that people don't really realize is that as an agent, you are paying the franchise a percentage off the top of every commission. So you get a $20,000 commission check, and I'm not going to do the math. It's usually...
Realtors only know how to multiply by 3.
I've had 3% off the top at one company and 6% off the top at another company, but we've seen it all the way up to 8% off the top of every commission just from the get-go. And then they have to pay their office a split, and those are usually on a sliding scale, like 70-30.
I've seen 50-50.
50-50 all the way down to 90-10, maybe 95-5 for a top producing agent.
Like
so
top.
Yeah.
Top.
So what is crazy to me is that we are supporting local, we are always supporting this community, but yet these companies are sending all of their money to other states, to other countries, to out of the valley. And that always really bothered Dave and I, and we just thought it was going to be better for us and better for my hometown to keep it local. And so we're trying to do that. And that way we keep our costs down, but we also are able to reinvest into the community by nonprofits and supporting local businesses. Last year, we were donated almost $60,000 to 12 different nonprofits.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It feels great.
It does.
It's an awesome thing. And the other thing that I love about it too is there was that article that we read that talked about how franchise brokerages are like semi-trucks. They're very tech heavy. They're burdened by the back end of all of the tech and software that they use, where boutique brokerages are like sports cars and they can maneuver. And I think this is super important as the market starts to shift, because the market is shifting. How it's so much easier for us as a boutique to shift with the market faster and easier without having this overwhelming financial and tech burden behind us.
And what would you rather be behind the wheel of? A semi or a Lamborghini?
I have always wanted to drive a semi, though. I have to admit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
You can come drive our RV.
I mean, how powerful is that? Like, that's a huge truck. It's cool.
Get it, girl.
But I'll take a sports car. Or a cruise ship versus a speedboat. I mean,
right? Yeah, totally. That also made me think, too, like on the boutique versus franchise, sending the money away. You also have people making decisions for you that are across the country, or in another country. It was the same thing when I was a teacher, and we were run by a company out of New York, and we were in St. Louis. And when you have people around a board table making decisions in New York for people in the ghetto of St. Louis, there's like no cohesion there, and it does not translate at all. And then I think you end up with brokers in your firm that are paying for services that they don't use because they don't fit into their business. And so I think another great thing about a franchise is that when you can keep more of that money in your own pocket, as a brokerage firm and as an individual broker, you can use a lot of the money for tools and systems that work for you.
That you'll actually use.
And support your business and support your clients, ultimately.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that part about it, is it gives you the opportunity and the flexibility to pick what works best for you versus something that you're just never going to use, but you're just going to have to pay for it.
Right, like cable television.
Right. Exactly. People still watch
I gave that up years ago.
I know. We still have DirecTV for some. We have DirecTV for the NFL Network. God forbid we give that up for Dave.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that.
Anyway, we love being a boutique brokerage, and Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good thing to.
And you can brand things the way you want, right?
Right. Yeah, totally. We can market the way we want. We can brand things the way we want. And each agent can be independently branded themselves too. I mean, we have to follow the Colorado Association and National Association rules of
But those have really lightened up.
realtors,
Right.
rules of marketing, but they are lighter. And so it gives agents the ability to kind of stand out on their own in a sea of a very, very competitive market. I mean, we have 150 agents in Gunnison, right? Gunnison, Crested Butte.
The association, last I checked, was almost peaking at 190.
Oh my gosh. So 190 realtors in a community of 10,000 people.
Right?
So
Everywhere you turn, there's a realtor.
yeah, that's how we roll. We love it.
I know one of the things too I wanted to hit on with the branding is I think it's cool too because like you were saying with a lot of companies, not only do you have to follow the state and national requirements, but then your company also says you have to use this and you have to use this color and you have to use this font. And with a boutique, as long as you're displaying your firm name, you can brand yourself. You can have your own color scheme.
Totally.
You can do whatever you want. And so I think that's really cool because a lot of people can be recognized based on what their individual branding is.
Yep, you're right. And that's, especially in a small town like ours, I think it really helps a lot.
A way to stand out. And another thought I had too was when I
need more
was
wine.
talking about, right? When I was talking about the difference between boutique versus franchise, and same with you, you've done 2 and 2. And with that, and also previously working for an association, I've done probably more real estate conferences than what
have.
the
You've been to a
average
lot.
realtor has done.
Yep.
And I can say that now that we're a boutique and, as part of the Tom Ferry Network, I would definitely say that I'll be honest, leading up to that conference, I was very much looking forward to it, but there was a part of me that was like, oh, I know there's always sessions that just aren't intriguing, or you're sitting there and you're like,
Time's up.
Is it beer 30 yet? And then, but I was 100% intrigued the entire time at that conference, and I'm already looking forward to going back.
Yeah,
So
that was a good one.
That was one cool thing. And granted, I got a lot of things out of the franchise ones too, but there's just a little more.
There's a laser
There's not
focus
as-
on those.
There is.
Yeah, and it's driven by the people running it wanting to grow their personal business,
Right.
Versus
Someone else
someone
trying
like Tom
to-
Ferry who's trying to grow all of the individual agents'
Right.
businesses. Granted, he's trying to grow his business too, but in a different way,
Yeah.
in a more organic way.
And I think agents need to remember that even if they're working for, whether it is a franchise or a boutique, but I think they can flourish more in a boutique, is that they are an independent contractor. They own their own business. Yes, they hang their license somewhere, but they still have the ability to run their business
That's right.
the way they choose.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other point I wanted to make is, companies refer to this like companies. So, if you were going to buy a house in St. Louis, I would, if you were working.
I'm not moving to St.
I know, bad example. Okay, if you're going to go to Hawaii,
Okay, all right.
I would want to refer you to a boutique broker in Hawaii. And I know a lot of the like-minded companies share referrals within each other. But what I noticed when I left my previous franchised company, I was worried about losing those referrals from that company. And
Right.
it turns out you find a whole nother tribe of people and that are boutiques.
Your
or that
vibe
support-
attracts your
vibe
tribe.
attracts your tribe. Group of people that refer to boutique brokerages. Same with clients. And to be honest with you, clients work with the person, not the brokerage. No. And I think that's a really
Preach
important,
it, girl.
I think that's a really important thing to remember is if you're a good broker, your clients aren't going to care what company you work for.
No,
So
they work with you for who you are, not for the logo on your door, for sure.